Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank, and thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of the podcast for 2024. Today, we are joined by Lisa Maines of Luxury Travel by Lisa, who talks about travel planning for the upcoming year. And on NKY at Work, Rhonda Whitaker Hurtt of Duke Energy joins Nancy Spivey to highlight their recent small business grant winners. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C-Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Hurtt. On Thursday, January 11th, we have NKYP Cocktails and Conversations at Pensive Distilling Company. On Tuesday, January 16th, the Women's Initiative is hosting a Coffee Connect at Turfway Park. And finally, on Thursday, January 18th, join us at Buffalo Bar in Ludlow for Business After Hours, sponsored by Frost Brown Todd. Like I said, lots of networking opportunities happening early this month. You can learn more about them at nkychamber.com/events. Now, let's go hear from our sponsors, meet our members of the week, and Nancy and I will be back with this week's guests.
Why would you travel to England?
For football.
To go or not to go?
That is an easy question.
To visit the land of Shakespeare.
To take in all the sights.
Authentic fish and chips.
To experience arts and culture.
2 words, British Open.
To visit my family.
Same reason I go anywhere. For a pint of beer. To start my trip through Europe.
Whatever your reason, there's no better time than now.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C-Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C-Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C-Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Hy-Vee Solutions designs and delivers purpose-built storage and networking solutions to meet data center demands for today and beyond. Simply Designed Events brings a simple approach to event planning. As a master certified event planner, Katie has the knowledge and experience to give you peace of mind on your event day. People First Talent and Retention Consulting specializes in helping small and medium-sized businesses grow and scale quickly and effectively by putting cost-effective and strategic infrastructure in place. Qdoba Mexican Eats is bold, fresh, and unique. Food that's inspired by the culinary traditions of Mexico. Your meal is prepared in-house and by hand. Northwest Title Family of Companies offers a complete package of title products and services within their family of companies, with 23 offices throughout Ohio and Kentucky. Guided by their mission to improve oral health for all, Dental Care Plus delivers the highest quality dental benefits plan, supported by one of the largest national provider networks. Since 1958, Ellesmere Ironworks has had one goal: to fabricate high-quality, functional, and long-lasting metalworks that exceed customer expectations. Tyson Foods is not only ready for tomorrow, they're leading the way as innovators, uniquely positioned to reshape what it means to feed our world. PepsiCo has the world's largest portfolio of billion-dollar food and beverage brands. Their motto is nationally great, locally even better, fueled by their commitment to the communities they live and serve in. Hi, everyone. Today on the podcast, we are once again joined by Lisa Maines of Luxury Travel by Lisa. Lisa, welcome back.
Hi, thanks so much for having me back. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yes, this is awesome. Right, and so much has changed since the last time you came on. I feel like we're back into the world where everybody is traveling all the time. We're not as worried about taking trips. So tell us, what's hot in travel right now?
You know, there's a lot of different things that are hot in travel. People ask me that all the time, obviously. You know, what's like everybody's radar. Obviously, Europe continues to be extremely popular, which is a great thing, but you have to be mindful of that if you're looking for some place to travel in Europe, Italy in particular, especially the time of year. So that is obviously hot and heavy all the time. But I'm actually seeing a lot of interest in other parts of the world, which is exciting because you don't always hear about people wanting to travel to Japan, for example. I just finished a trip for clients that spent 14 days in Japan, which was an amazing experience. Another thing that you're starting to hear a lot about is, Ireland, Scotland continue to be hot as well. But then people are interested back in the U.S., which we kind of sometimes forget about, honestly. It's like, well, we want to go explore other things. There's other places here in the U.S. that you don't always tap into, or ways to travel that you may want to consider.
Yeah, that is so neat. I think you mentioned the United States travel last time you were on, and I thought that was so interesting. Within the U.S., I know there are so many different types of things you can do. We're a huge country.
Right.
What are some things that you're seeing here stateside that people are into?
Obviously, people love to go to the big cities. New York City, did a trip in Boston. I've done New Orleans. But then somebody just recently reached out to me about train travel across the U.S., which, again, people forget that that's a way to do it in a very economical way, but also you get to see the beautiful landscape that we have. And so I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, that sounds so neat. I know when you're out west, a lot of people do that train travel, and that always looks so cool.
Or Alaska also. Go up to Alaska because they've got some great train options up there to see Denali, for example. That could be just a beautiful experience.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. That is so neat. And you work with Virtuoso, which is an organization. Tell us about that organization and how you work with them.
Sure. Virtuoso is a consortium, which is a good way of saying a organization that brings together different vendors, suppliers, hotels, cruise lines, tour operators. They tend to be in what I would consider a more exclusive realm. But they also have properties and tour operators that you can use based on your budget. So that allows me to kind of tap into relationships with these suppliers that give my clients great amenities. They have preferential treatment many times in resorts, and they get upgraded suites if there's availability. So this gives them exposure to other properties that they may not have come across when you Google search, for example.
Right. Very different working with a travel agent than doing a Google search or finding whatever you can online. Tell us the benefits about working with a travel agent.
There's a lot of benefits, obviously. The first one that comes to most people's mind is it saves me time. Because obviously you as the individual, or you're out there Googling, trying to figure out the best location you want to go to, what's the right resort. But quite honestly, Google shows you what they want you to see based on your search history.
Right.
And also, what is the promotion that some of these hotels or cruise lines are offering? So when you do that yourself, you're just getting a slice of options.
Right.
When you work with a travel advisor, you actually are benefiting from my expertise and my access across a wide spectrum of suppliers. I can look at options that you probably can't see. You may not be familiar with a certain cruise line, for example, or if you want to do a tour in a certain location, you don't know who to contact for that information. When you work with me, I can pull out all that information together. I can give you the options, and then you can make the choices based on what you want to experience, how you want to travel, what's your budget. So I base that all on your requirements, and so that's a big benefit. And then obviously it's a time saver for you.
Right.
You don't have to spend your time and energy. And again, you're getting exposed to options that you don't necessarily know about, or you couldn't figure out how to access them if you wanted to.
Yeah. Sometimes Google is not all that it's cracked up to be.
No, it's. I mean, there's some great benefits of it, obviously, and it's a good way to sometimes get some, background. It's like, oh, I'm interested in that. Now let me tap into somebody that actually has the expertise in that area and has a relationship with these vendors.
Yeah.
Because again, it's not just about booking the hotel or the airfare, but sometimes you need transportation options. How do you navigate rail in Europe? If I want a villa in Tuscany, how would I find that? Is that a good option? Is that in the right location based on what I want to experience? So those are all the things that a travel advisor can guide you through that process and make sure that the trip is designed the way you want it to.
Yeah, that is so great. And one other thing about working with a travel advisor, and you mentioned this earlier before we started filming, this group travel.
Yeah.
So tell us about group travel options and what that offers people.
Right. So group travel can be defined in a number of ways. Obviously, it can be individuals that are traveling together as a family. Maybe you're having a destination wedding, or you have friends that are having a significant milestone, so they all want to get together and celebrate, a significant birthday, for example. But there's also group business as far as corporations, associations, and what that does is, you hand off that event to somebody like myself and can put together all the activities, all the hotel arrangements, the transportation, the air if needed, the tours when you get there, meal selections, all those things can be built into what is called group business. I have done it for companies in the past. I've done it for groups that are looking to travel. I did one for the Chamber to Charleston earlier this year, which was a great opportunity to get them into a location and put together all the elements to make that trip successful.
Yeah, it sounds like a great option, like you said, for families that are maybe traveling, and for businesses. I think that is something that I feel like would stress me out, absolutely, trying to travel. I mean, like planning a trip for two with me and my husband, I think sometimes is stressful, let alone traveling with like 5 or 6 people or a group of like a dozen plus.
Right. And you really do need to make sure that, when you're looking to put together those types of events, that you're working with a qualified individual who has the right relationships, can navigate through the complexities, because it is a complex process. And so you really do need to make sure that you have somebody that is looking out in your best interest and can navigate through that.
Yes, it sounds so great to have you on someone's side when they're traveling planning a big travel trip. When people are thinking about planning their trips, how far in advance should people start planning right now?
It really does depend on the location. I have somebody that I'm doing some research for a safari. They're looking a couple years out, which is actually a smart way to do it, because that can take time to figure out the right safari that you want to go on, because they're all not created equal. So if it's a big trip like that, I would definitely say 1 to 2 years is in your best interest to get you the right opportunities, the pricing, to make sure that you have thought through all the different expenses and make sure that it's going to be successful and it's something you're going to be able to do. If you're looking for something shorter term, definitely can do that. If you're looking to go to Europe next year, definitely plan now, because airfare, hotel availability, you want to make sure that you're there at a time of year that is not going to be overwhelming and you're not going to have the right experience. A cruise, honestly, 24 months out is not unheard of, especially for some of the bigger ones. But I would definitely say within a year that you want to travel, you should definitely be doing that.
Okay, well, that's good. I know there were some longer lead times when we were closer to the pandemic, so it's nice to know that things have kind of settled. But like you said, big trips, plan far in advance.
Definitely. But I would say, contrary to that advice, the couple that just went to Japan, they contacted me 6 weeks before they wanted to travel, and they had a very set date because of work, and they wanted to go to Japan and Fiji, and so they were gone for 25 days. And in 6 weeks, I was able to make that happen for them because of the relationships I did have with the suppliers in the Japan market. And I forgot, if I didn't mention that already, Japan is an extremely hot market. Like, everybody's traveling to that part of Asia, which is amazing to see. But yes, you definitely want to plan as far in advance as you can. But if you have somebody that is actually connected and has the right relationships, you can make it happen quicker.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, Lisa, thank you so much for being on the podcast. If someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they find out more information and have you help them plan a trip of a lifetime?
Well, obviously, I'm on the Chamber's website, so you can look me up there. But also, I have several social media posts out there. I'm on Facebook, Luxury Travel by Lisa. I'm in LinkedIn. I also have my own website, so if you Google Luxury Travel by Lisa, you should be able to find that. My phone number is out there. Email is also a good way to get a hold of me, luxurytravelbylisa@gmail.com. So there's a number of different ways you can do it.
Yeah, it sounds very findable, very searchable to find you. And then Lisa, before I let you go, is there anything else you'd like to add today?
Not beyond what we've already talked about as far as availability, but I would definitely say that if you're looking to travel, again, I cannot emphasize enough the benefits of working with a travel advisor who is looking out for your best interest and making sure it's seamless, even when you're in destination. I always tell people that it's like, I'm here whenever you need to get a hold of me. And it has been 2 a.m. phone calls when somebody is arriving at a hotel and they're having challenges with the front desk, or their flights have been canceled at the last minute. What do we do? So that is something, if you want to travel and not have to worry about all those details, work with a qualified travel advisor.
Yeah, great advice. Well, Lisa, thank you so much once again for joining us.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm Nancy Spivey, Vice President of Talent Strategies for the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. On today's NKY at Work segment, we are talking about small businesses with Rhonda Whitaker Hurtt, and Rhonda is with Duke Energy. Welcome, Rhonda.
Thank you, Nancy.
So tell us a little bit, first of all, about your role and your role with the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, wow, that's a loaded question.
That's a lot.
So, Vice President of Community Relations for Duke Energy, Ohio and Kentucky. Have been with the company 32 years. That's hard to believe. And you know, in those 32 years, I have spent a good number of those years partnering with the chamber, right? A board member for, gosh, over probably 16, 17 years. Chaired the board, as you might recall, back in 2017 and 2018.
Yes.
Have chaired a lot of different committees and been involved on different committees here at the chamber over the years. You know, the chamber is near and dear to my heart, for sure. And just the great work that the chamber does here in the community. It is the premier business organization, for sure.
And I also understand you're part of Grow NKY and have kind of been, that's kind of a baby of yours, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
So to speak. So when I was chairing the board in 2017 and 2018, I had gathered a few key workforce partners, partners of the chamber, and we started talking about an initiative that we had been running at the chamber, which was the Advanced Manufacturing Coalition. And several of us got together and said, you know, all businesses are experiencing this need for talent, right? Either the skills gap or just needing to find workers. And it's not just in the manufacturing sector. It was really impacting all of the high demand sectors.
Yes.
And so we decided to create Grow to really address the talent pipeline need in all of the high demand sectors here in Northern Kentucky. And as you know, Nancy, that Grow initiative has been up and running for 5 years, which is hard to believe.
Right.
So it's morphed a little. It moved from under the chamber's wing and is now under the Workforce Investment Board here in Northern Kentucky.
Yes.
But we still have a very strong steering team that helps to guide the vision and the direction, and just over 70 partners who are engaged in the pillar work.
Yeah.
5 different pillars. So that's been something that has also been near and dear to my heart.
Sure. And I think for me as a workforce practitioner and somebody that's kind of grown up in this workforce world, having that system in place where we can all align, where we can all reach out to one another, gather our combined resources rather than each of us doing it in silos.
Absolutely.
So
that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Right?
I just think your vision and the vision of so many others in the world or in our community, I think that's what has really helped us drive this work. So
thank you. It's been great to be even a small part of it. And I consider it a small part because, you know, those who are on the front line and doing the daily work, whether it's in the educational organizations or all of these workforce partners, they're the ones who are really doing the tough work day in and day out.
That's right. So to that end, let's talk a little bit about Duke Energy and small business. Help me align those two together. And I understand you also were instrumental in getting us a grant, the chamber, to help fund some small businesses. So help us understand that a little bit.
Well, so Nancy, I think you also know Duke has been very vested in economic development in our region for years.
Yes.
We partner with NKY, formerly known as Triad, on this side of the river, and on the other side of the river, We partner with Ready Cincinnati. We work closely with a lot of different economic development directors in cities that we serve all over Ohio and Kentucky, but primarily work very closely with Ready and BNKY to really advance business attraction for large commercial and industrial projects. And in addition, that includes even expansions for large commercial and industrial customers.
Sure.
So anyone who's a really large energy user, we are we're very tied to not only working what are called the RFIs, the requests for information that come into the region, but we do some funding as well. And we have a site readiness program also that we have done. We've conducted for, gosh, I think since 2010, the site readiness program, which looks at large tracts of parcels or land here in the region to identify those that might be ripe for future potential industrial growth. And for that program, we partner with a national site consultant and a local engineering firm, and they help us evaluate these sites along with our partners like Ready and BNKY. And through this process, we're able to come up with some ways that the community can better market those sites so that they're more site ready when those prospects come knocking on our door here locally. You know, in 2020, during the pandemic, we saw an opportunity to also help those small businesses who were really looking to survive and rebound with the pandemic. And we decided to invest some funding through our Duke Energy Foundation to help support these small businesses. And so, as you know, small businesses make up a very large part of the economy. They make up a large part of our membership at the Chamber. They make up a large percentage of our customer base at Duke as well. And so we decided that we would pump some money into these small businesses to try to help them during this really challenging time.
And it's gone since 2020 to now. We just awarded our most recent levels of grants, and I think we're going to show a graph that's going to have the 9 honorees this time, and just so exciting from my perspective because I was the one organizing and kind of helping make those wonderful announcements and go out and meet the employers. And I just hearing the struggles they've encountered, whether they were in existence during the height of COVID or whether they decided, I'm going to go in a new direction and start my own company in 2022 or 2023. It's just an exciting time for small business, but also takes a lot of courage and a lot of partnering. And I think Duke's doing a great job in serving that community especially.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a great partnership overall because, as you know, partnering with the Northern Kentucky Chamber, we've also partnered with other chambers throughout our region in Ohio and Kentucky. So, clear up to Franklin, Ohio, the north side of our Ohio service territory, Claremont County, Grant County. I mean, really all the counties that we serve here locally have benefited from these small business grants. And primarily, we've worked with the local chambers. Sometimes it's been with another organization that has a tie to small businesses.
Sure.
For example, the Miami University Small Business Office we partnered with here recently on some of these grants. But we've allowed then, of course, the organizations like the Northern Kentucky Chamber to really select the organizations. And one of the key elements of this program, as you know, is that we really wanted to focus on minority-owned, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses. And that's something I think we've been very excited about as well.
Yeah, and we made sure we had a selection committee kind of review those applications. And I think we had like 60 applications, and we were able to identify 9 solid recipients, and they all represent either a minority, a woman, or a veteran-owned business. So the fact we were able to get all 3 categories, and
so exciting. And I know we invested, $275,000 in total for the region.
Sure.
But since 2020, we had invested in this support $880,000 in total. And I forget the exact number of businesses that represents, but just excited that, these are companies, like you said, that they need a lift, they need a hand up, and it might be for physical space limitations and adaptability or technology improvements, talent sourcing, job posting fees, professional development, training. I mean, I'm sure you saw a lot of the requests around those types of items that we would permit through the granting. And then, of course, the grants range anywhere typically from maybe $1,000 to $10,000.
Right, and this is money they don't have to pay back. This is money that's going into our economy. That's really helping them build, grow, sustain their business. So I know Duke has again been a champion with supporting businesses, and I think you mentioned that you are going up into Ohio and down into Kentucky. Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit more about your service area?
Yeah, sure. So here in Kentucky, we primarily serve Boone, Kenton, and Campbell, and parts of Grant, and parts of Pendleton County.
Okay.
And then in Ohio, Hamilton, Claremont, Brown, Butler, Warren County, and then we have a few small outlying counties where we might serve just a handful of gas customers or just a few electric customers that surround those counties. But those are the primary counties also that we serve in Ohio.
Yeah. It must be a pleasure to be in your role and to be involved in a great organization for 32 years. I mean, I just think that's phenomenal.
Without a doubt. I mean, we've had the great fortune of having our foundation that is funded through shareholder dollars too. And that's been such a great resource for us to be able to lend support in the communities and help these neighborhoods that we serve stay vibrant and see the success of these small businesses that are so important and critical to these neighborhoods where we all live, work, and play.
That's right.
So, I mean, it's a benefit not just to the chambers who are helping these businesses and the businesses themselves, but you think about our employees and our customers. You know, they are the ones who are out there also supporting these businesses, right?
That's right. They're critical to all of us.
Absolutely, right.
Anything else you want to add?
Well, you know, there are some other ways that we have been trying to support small businesses here in the region. First and foremost, we just revamped. We have a whole new billing system, and we have a whole new online portal that businesses can tap with a plethora of resources. And if any businesses watching this today and they think, hey, I'd like to check out Duke's website, they can go on and find our business experience page and portal. And on there, they can look for ways to streamline the bill payment process. They can pick their due date. They can look for budget billing options. There are tools to help them efficiently keep the right people in their organization in the know about things like outages.
Okay.
Who can they sign up for outage alerts?
Okay. Wow.
They can track and manage their energy usage and cost on this business portal. So really want to encourage our customers to go onto our website, duke-energy.com, and check out the business portal. And then, you know, there's something else that this reminds me of, Nancy, and that is we've had another program that we've supported through our foundation for a number of years, since actually 2010, and that is our Urban Revitalization Initiative. And that is also, again, a program funded through our foundation. We award grants for the redevelopment of blighted and vacant buildings in core urban areas of our service territory.
Right.
So it's not in the rural areas, but it's designed to help keep those core urban centers vibrant, if you will. They're so critical to the overall health of this overall economy. And through those grants, we've given over $3 million to 100 projects since 2010. But a key element of that is each grant has to be tied to small business job growth.
Okay.
So when these spaces are renovated, there could be some housing that is a part of it, but primarily we're looking for these spaces to be renovated into commercial spaces. And if you think about 100 projects since 2010, you know, you start thinking, wow, well, how many jobs has that created?
Right.
I don't have the number.
Right. But it's a lasting legacy in my mind.
It's something that we think is giving, you know, long-term development finesse here in this region. And an example would be projects like Hotel Covington or Braxton Brewing, Carabello Coffee, the Baker's Table. and that's just a small number that I'm mentioning here in Northern Kentucky of those 100 projects on both sides of the river. But of the 100 projects, I would say it's almost been an even split. It's almost been a 50-50 split on both sides of the river. Here in Northern Kentucky, that's primarily in the river cities.
Sure.
But again, looking for that job growth that can really help add to the economic vitality of our region.
Well, thanks for making our place even better than it already is. So
it's
really
our
do
pleasure.
appreciate
It's
that.
our pleasure, and thanks for having us today.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Hurtt, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thanks so much for tuning into the podcast today and hearing from Lisa Maines of Luxury Travel by Lisa and Rhonda Whitaker Hurtt of Duke Energy. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, D-Crew Consulting, and Hurtt. Don't forget to check out all of the Chamber's upcoming networking opportunities happening this month. You can learn more and register for all of our events at nkychamber.com/events. And finally, if you're a member who would like to be featured on the podcast in 2024, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're someone looking to share your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our staff directory at nkychamber.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you guys next week.